Okay, it's my pleasure to do the proclamation. Mr. France Wilson will receive the proclamation, and I have a short introduction for him, then I will read the proclamation. Mr. Wilson moved from Montgomery, Alabama to Rockville in January 1971 to accept position as Director of Minority Health at Group Health Association of America. His wife is Lois Wilson. She's in the audience. They have 3 daughters who are graduates of Richard Montgomery High School. Mr. Wilson was active with civil rights in Montgomery, Alabama. Notably, he marched in the 1965 Selma to Montgomery civil rights protest for the right to vote. He returned in 2015 for the 50th anniversary of the Selma to Montgomery March for the right to vote. Former President Barack Obama was the keynote speaker. He served as director of the Cleveland Avenue Branch YMCA. The avenue has been renamed the Rosa Parks Boulevard. Since coming to Rockville, his primary community service has been volunteer service with St. James Prison Ministry, a program conducted by several local churches, which includes his Gaithersburg Presbyterian Church, working together with staff at Montgomery County Correctional Facility. It is with this program where he serves as a spiritual advisor and counselor for inmates pending their release. And now I'll read the proclamation. Whereas, in 1976, Black History Month, later changed to National African American History Month, was formally adopted to honor and affirm the importance of African American history. And whereas National African American History Month is a time for all Americans to remember the stories of those who helped build our nation and took a stance against prejudice, and to applaud the efforts of organizations like the NAACP and the National Council of Negro Women, who over the years have advocated for the rights of African Americans. And whereas we are reminded of the major contributions African Americans have made to our country in the areas of business, education, sports, politics, science, social justice, and the arts. And whereas during National African American History Month, our youth are encouraged to use the past successes and challenges of African Americans as a model for leadership to build bridges and seek justice and equality for all. And whereas in this new year, let us be mindful of our past heroes who enriched our lives so greatly and assist our youth in creating additional opportunities to achieve the American promise. Now, therefore, the Mayor and Council of Rockville do hereby proclaim the month of February 2019 to be National African American History Month in the city of Rockville, and encourage all residents to recognize and appreciate the many contributions made by African Americans throughout this region, and to participate in the many educational events honoring the contributions of African Americans. I so move the proclamation.
I'll second it. Been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please raise your hand. It is unanimous.
So Mr. Wilson will come up for just a few minutes.
First of all, I want to thank the council for the opportunity to be here. You heard that my family and I moved from Montgomery, Alabama in 1971. And he mentioned that we have 3 daughters. All 3 graduated from Richard Montgomery High School. And among those 3, we have 9 grandchildren now. So, but my wife taught at Wooten High School for 25 years. She's in the audience here now, for 20 years, I'm sorry. And some of you may have seen it 9 years ago. Channel 11 did a video on our family's casual acquaintance with Dr. Martin Luther King. And they introduction information also mentioned that I work very closely with the prison ministry in Montgomery County, specifically with Gaithersburg Presbyterian Church, and more so with the Montgomery County Correctional Facility, and that is where the ministry does a lot of work. The other thing is that pretty soon I'm going to be working with an effort to develop with the NAACP a program to address the fact that you have young people in prison who are there because they didn't honor their payments for the families once they went in the system. And I'll be asking some people later on. The other thing is this, I'll make it short. If you mentioned that, I came here in 1971. And out of all of the different things that I've done and that's received here in Rockville, I consider the proclamation today to validate my residence in Rockville, Maryland.